Commissioners meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, please.
President Todd?
Here.
Vice President Gibson?
Here.
Commissioner Antsier?
Here.
Commissioner Janner?
Here.
Commissioner McBroom?
Here.
Commissioner Ruffing?
Here.
Commissioner Thompson?
Here.
Do we have any matters from the public?
We do not.
All right. Reports and updates. Riverwalk Commission.
Thank you. The Riverwalk Commission met yesterday, February 9th. We discussed updates on the repairs to Moser Tower and the communication and fundraising plans for the 2031 Riverwalk Master Plan. The next Riverwalk Commission meeting will be March 9th at the Municipal Center.
Thank you. Thank you. Finance Committee.
Yes. Finance Committee met on Friday, January 21st. The committee conducted the annual review of the district's financial policies. There were no major changes proposed by staff or the committee. The policies will be reviewed by the entire board at the next meeting with approval scheduled for March. Next Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for March 18th at 9:30 a.m. at the Administrative Building.
Thank you. Legislative.
Thank you, President. Thank you, President Todd. The Legislative Committee did not meet, however, on the morning of Monday, February 7th. Members of the committee attended the Iapd Legislative Forum via Zoom. There were approximately 100 people on the call and a number of our legislators. And so the legislators at that time expressed support for Parks and Recreation and for what we do here in the community. The Legislative Committee meets quarterly, and the next meeting will be scheduled most likely in mid-March. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Parks and Rec.
Okay. The Parks and Recs Committee met just today at 5:30 prior to this meeting. There were many handouts. We discussed proposing a master plan for garden plots and a feasibility study that was proposed by former Commissioner Ron Ori as far as possibly adding a greenhouse and how that would work for the park district. So it was just kind of discussion on if that's something we could add a master plan to discuss before going forward with that. We discussed the community interest and opinion survey going out. That's going to be presented for board review at the next meeting, as well as the Ordinance 641 updates, reviewed capital projects, as well as the district-wide security rekeying initiative that's going to be occurring since it's been pretty outdated. They're looking to update that for security purposes and getting everything up to date.
Thank you. I have no report. IAPD conference reports. Mary, you want to, or Leslie?
I will begin.
Okay.
And I'm going to be very brief. For my first IAPD IPRA conference, my learning track, I just obviously focused mostly on topics surrounding boardmanship, with classes covering such topics as board rules, effective leadership, and the ins and outs of social media and electronic communication concerns, just to name a few. I did enjoy the fact that the classes were Illinois focused in terms of pertinent rules and regulations of our state. I felt lucky to be there alongside of a number of staff members, including several who were presenters themselves. And I know that this has been previously mentioned, but I do want to provide one more big congratulations to our staff for the 2 awards that we received at the conference, the Exceptional Workplace Award and the Outstanding Park Award for Wolf's Crossing. I'm always appreciative of the opportunity to broaden my parks knowledge, and I look forward to more opportunities in the future.
Great, thank you. Mary?
Yeah, I had the privilege of attending the conference as well, and it was a great opportunity to speak with other members of the Parks and Recreation field in our neighboring communities to learn about best practices, particularly for boards and boardmanship and the work we do here. And to see and hear some of the exciting things happening in some of our neighboring communities. One of the interesting sessions I attended was from the Chicago Park District on democratizing parks through arts and culture. And it was a really cool example of how they're using their open spaces to make sure all their residents feel welcome and valued in their parks. So that was really interesting. And then just to echo Commissioner Ruffing's, congratulations to staff for the Exceptional Workplace Award and the Wolf's Crossing Award. Great work.
Great, thank you. All right, our new executive director, your first report.
Thank you. I've got a couple of items to update the board on. First is tune into the Naperville Park District's Park Talk podcast for the annual State of the Park District Address. Released earlier this week, the series includes interviews with commissioners and staff and features 7 episodes covering a variety of topics with the theme Rebuilding and Renewing. The podcast provides a convenient way for residents to learn more about their park district and what's planned for 2022. Find the podcast at napervilleparks.org/podcasts or on most podcast apps. Stop by the Naperville Park District's Central Maintenance Facility for an employment open house to learn about the many job opportunities available in the Parks Department and at the golf courses. We have full and part-time positions available for ages 18 and up. The open house is Saturday, February 26th from 10 a.m. to noon. Enjoy donuts and coffee, meet staff, and apply on site. The Central Maintenance Facility is located at 427 Martin Avenue in Naperville. Registration for our 2022-23 preschool programs is underway for both residents and non-residents. The Preschool Academy meets at Alfred Rubin Riverwalk Community Center, and the Toadstools and Pollywogs program offers 2 locations at the Seeger Park Interpretive Center or Knock Knolls Nature Center. Learn more at napervilleparks.org/preschool. The Naperville Park District is currently planning for its 2022 Farmers Market and is seeking vendors. If you would like to apply to be considered, visit napervilleparks.org/farmersmarket to access the application and view additional information. Baseball and softball seasons are on the horizon, which means that our registration for spring leagues is coming up shortly. Mark your calendar for Tuesday, March 8th at noon for resident and spring baseball and softball registration. Our program offers t-ball, coach pitch, and softball for kids in grades pre-K through 8th. Visit napervilleparks.org/baseball for additional information. And finally, with spring just around the corner, our digital spring program guide and summer camps guide will be online at napervilleparks.org beginning March 9th. Register for spring programs, summer camps, garden plots, and more. Additionally, spring break camps are already listed in the winter program guide with registration in progress. The winter program guide is available at napervilleparks.org/program guides.
Thank you. All right, let's move to the treasurer's report.
Move to approve the December 2021 Treasurers Report.
Second.
Thank you. Let's have a roll call.
Vice President Gibson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruffing,
Yes.
Commissioner Ansier,
Yes.
Commissioner Janner,
Yes.
Commissioner McBroom,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
President Todd.
Yes. All right, we'll move to the consent agenda. Bridget, would you please read the consent agenda?
Item 5.1, approve January 2022 disbursements in the amount of $3,328,668.37. 5.2, approve January 2022 disbursements made through the Bank of America Purchasing Card Program in the amount of $212,133.54. 5.3, approve January 2022 custom refunds in the amount of $2,787.84. 5.4, approve January 2022 regular meeting minutes. 5.5, approve January 2022 executive session closed meeting minutes. 5.6, award the contract for the administrative building IT server room cooling unit installation project to Oak Brook Mechanical Services, Inc. in the amount of $62,737.50. 5.7, award the contract for the DuPage River Sports Complex Fields number 3 and number 5 fence improvements and Nike Sports Complex synthetic turf field fence fabric replacement project to Proline Fence Company in the amount of $235,401.60. 5.8, award the contract for the Frontier Sports Complex Ball Field Hub Sports Lighting Renovation Project to Musco Sports Lighting LLC, Musco, in the amount of $689,600. 5.9, award the contract for the Frontier Sports Complex Fitness Court Equipment Installation Project to Integral Construction, Inc. in the amount of $28,320. 5.10, authorize the executive director to issue purchase order to Cunningham Recreation in the amount of $90,970.80 for play equipment for the Napier Commons Park Playground Development Project. 5.11, authorize the executive director to issue a purchase order to Classic Recreation in the amount of $48,858 for 2 shelters for the Napier Commons Park project. 5.12, approve 2021 cash and lieu fund annual report for the fiscal year January 1, 2021 to December 31st, 2021. 5.13, approve resolution 22-02, naming multipurpose room number 4 at the Fort Hill Activity Center, Harris Feywell Multipurpose Room. 5.14, award the contract for the 2022 T-shirt base bid to Sunburst Sportswear in the amount of $43,632.42. 5.15, award the contract for the 2022 T-shirt bid alternate number 1 bid to Express Press in the amount of $19,807.14. And 5.16, reject the bid from Integral Construction, Inc. for failure to submit a responsive bid and to award the contract for the Springbrook Golf Course 2022 renovation project to Wadsworth Golf Construction, Inc. in the amount of $3,545,447. And 5.17, approve ordinance 1014, declaration of surplus property.
Thank you. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda? Okay, accept the consent agenda.
Move to accept consent agenda items 5.1 through 5.17.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Vice President Gibson,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ansier,
Yes.
Commissioner Janner,
Yes.
Commissioner McBroom,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruffing.
Yes.
President Todd.
Yes. Okay, approve the consent agenda item.
Move to approve consent agenda items 5.1 through 5.17.
Second.
Thank you. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We have no unfinished business. All right, we can move to new business. We have 2 resolutions that came up from members of the board. So let's do the first resolution. You want to make the motion?
Yes. Move to approve Resolution 2203, reaffirming the commitment of the Naples Park District to diversity, equity, and inclusivity.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah.
Yes?
So a suggestion or maybe a movement to table this. I think it's great. I mean, I don't think anyone would disagree with any of the words on it. There's no call to action on it. And I would embrace or look for suggestions from either the staff or the park district. If there's areas where we're lacking, that would be concerning in the area of inclusivity, diversity, or even welcoming in general. I haven't seen it. So, if the purpose of approving this is just to, put some nice wording out there and kind of a feel-good thing, to me, it looks like a political statement. I'm not sure that's the intention, but, if there's some action that could be taken, I would certainly take that under consideration. And if any commissioners thought there was an area where the park district was lacking, I'd be interested in hearing that and address it. So I guess there's no harm in, affirming something like this. My concern would be that it would reflect on our staff that maybe they are lacking in this area of being accepting or inclusive, which I've never experienced that. I think our staff is some of the finest people that I've ever met. So if there's some kind of action that could be taken or something that we're lacking in, I would certainly love to hear those things, and I would be open to it. So if anyone's interested in approaching it that way, I'd be interested in tabling it and moving it to a future meeting. But as far as it's written, I think it's unnecessary and it kind of sounds political to me, so I wouldn't support it.
Okay.
It's not in response to the staff doing anything incorrect. The staff has been fantastic. We're all here because we love and support the Naperville community. This park district is amazing. Everything that's in there is stuff that the park district is already doing. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is already reflected in our programs. The fact that we have fee assistance leans to its equity. The fact that we work with WDSRA is inclusivity. So these are things we are already doing. This statement is merely just confirming, again, just as the city has done, just as other park districts and other government agencies across the country, generally speaking, that these are things that we're still committed to and we're going to remain committed to. So it's merely a statement of the things we're already doing, and there's nothing further to it.
I also feel like this fits in really nicely with Naperville's upcoming campaign that's spread across Naperville with the banners and everything that are going to be coming up for us to reaffirm this, and not only reaffirm it, but look for ways to expand upon it. It's not necessarily that we're saying that the park district's doing anything wrong, but there's always more we can be doing to be inclusive, to be welcoming, especially for such a diverse city as Naperville. And I feel like in making a statement like this, when we approach new projects, when we look at new programming, when we look to hire new individuals, making the statement, we will have that in the back of our minds and make sure it's at the forefront of our minds when we do make those decisions.
Okay. Any other comments? All right, there was a
Yeah.
motion to,
President Todd,
go ahead.
I mean, my first reaction when I read this was something my mom said when I was a little kid, and that's actions speak louder than words. She said it over and over, and I support this. I agree with it 100%, no question about it. But you know, my question would be, does this go far enough? I mean, there's really no action to it. You know, I would suggest, I think it was if Commissioner Gibson made the motion, why don't we form a committee with a couple board members, a couple staff members, a couple members of the public, or whatnot, and dig into this a little further, so at least we have some action on it. I mean, this is words. It's great. I agree with it, but you know, maybe a committee that got together would be able to raise some tangible, actionable items that this board could certainly consider. I think it's great that, you know, our board in particular has become increasingly more diverse in the time that I've been here, which is 100% positive. Again, actions speak louder than words, and I would suggest that we just amend this to add a little bit of action to it, so that it's not just a nice statement that we have here and then we move on to the next meeting and it just sits there. So that would be my suggestion.
Go ahead. Mary?
I think those are great points, Commissioner Janner. I don't know why we can't do action and words. I think this is a great starting point. But those are great suggestions. Let's, you know, use this as a starting point to do more.
I can agree with that, for sure. I'd be happy to be a part of anything that's going to promote it any further. So definitely a person of action myself. So I'm happy to work with that on you if you'd like to work with that.
So
Yeah.
are you suggesting then we amend the motion then to add a committee or something to it? Or are we just going to
Why don't we
approve this
keep
today?
this separate? We can discuss how we want to form a committee separate from the,
We could certainly
reaffirming.
we could certainly amend the motion. If there was support for amending the motion, we can do that right now if the board wanted to.
So procedurally, I'm just not sure. So we just add another clause that says we intend to form a committee to discuss ways
Yeah,
we
well-
can act upon this?
Well, there's two ways to proceed procedurally. One, that can be Commissioner Janner can offer a motion in lieu of the existing motion, which is simply to approve the existing resolution, which was created to, in part to solve a particular problem in the community. So he can offer a motion in lieu, and we take that up procedurally. If it gets a second, we vote on whether to take that motion in lieu. Otherwise, you can ask the two people who made the original motion whether they want to amend their motion. So that's where we're at the moment.
all right, let me back up a little bit. Commissioner McBroom had put out to table. We
Was that a
should
formal
address that.
motion?
There's no second on that.
No, I'm fine with your options there that Dirk explained. So
Okay. So,
Do you want to offer a motion in substitution of Commissioner Janner?
No, I think I'd put the ball back. Was it Commissioner Ansier and Commissioner Gibson that brought this forth? So I'd put it back in your court to say, you know, if you're willing to amend it to
they don't need to.
add a committee or something along those lines to it, I would certainly support that. I'd be more excited about that, frankly, than this motion here that has no action.
I would support that.
Can we approve this resolution and do a committee?
So if you wanted, yes, you can do both. I mean, if you wanted to say, you know, approve this resolution and, I mean, I don't know who, it's going to be an ad hoc committee because it's not one on your board policies. So I think that we need to talk about who's going to be on the committee, what their goals are going to be, when they're expected to meet, and do the rest. If you want to add them to legislative and all the others that reported tonight, is that how far you want to go with this committee?
Or are you just talking about something small and discrete that will wrap up and be done in an ad hoc way? I don't know how to advise you on forming a motion when I don't know really what this committee is going to look like.
Yeah, we can go forward and just reaffirm, make this reaffirming statement and then consider whether, how we want to form a committee.
Right, we
Later,
can
right?
take that
Take
up
that
under, we can take that up at the end of the new business. We can discuss anything. My suggestion would be we vote on this resolution, move on from that. After the next resolution, then we can talk about what you want in the committee, and then we'll bring it back and form it at the next meeting and do all that. So
Here's what I would say. I'll support your resolution. I'll take your word for it. There'll be some action in the future. That's just, my objection is it seems like words, there's no action. So I don't know if we need to amend it, but if there's be some kind of action in the future, I'll support.
Yeah, I would keep things as it is, because like we said, it's a starting point. I mean, amendments have been made to this board before, or motions been made before that didn't really have an action other than just a statement. So it's not like this is a new thing. But absolutely, going forward, whatever ways we can make that action, whether a committee is appropriate or other things, that's definitely something to be discussed. Like right now, though, let's do this, and then anything in the future, happy to have discussion with anybody who wants to work on that.
All right. Any other discussion? All right, let's have a roll call on this then. And the motion as it stands.
Vice President Gibson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ansier,
Yes.
Commissioner Janner,
Yes.
Commissioner McBroom,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruffing,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
President Todd.
Yes. All right. For a resolution to consider. Commissioner McBroom, would you like to make the motion? It's yours.
Motion to approve Resolution 2204 concerning the manner of seeking compliance with Executive Order 2122 at Naperville Park District indoor public spaces, places.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All right, let's do roll call.
Commissioner McBroom,
Yes.
Commissioner Janner,
Yes.
Commissioner Ansier,
No.
Commissioner Ruffing,
No.
Commissioner Thompson,
No.
President Todd.
No.
Commissioner Thompson, I'm sorry. Gibson.
Gibson.
No.
Okay, the motion fails.
So now to finish up the business about, do we want to form a committee? And what, is it going to be an ad hoc committee? Who wants to be on it? And what do you want? Who do you want from staff on it? And what's their goal?
Go ahead.
If we allowed to have time to think about this, and you were the one who suggested it, did you want to lead it?
No, I was just, the two people that made that drafted the resolution along with Attorney Price, I believe was Commissioner Ansier and Vice President Gibson. So my objective was to kind of put the ball back in your court since you generated this and we all agreed with it. If you wanted to take it a step further, I would be supportive of taking it a step further.
Okay, well, thanks for your support on that, and that's something we'll definitely look into in the future and hope to have your participation.
Yeah, we can consider how we want to do it and bring it forth later, can't we?
Absolutely. I want to close the loop on that since.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, let's, if there are ideas on how we want to implement it, whether we should put it within existing committees or if we should, create something separate or ad hoc, let's
Yeah, I mean, I
certainly
truly,
gather ideas.
I see it as a starting point. I know there have been other resolutions, even in the past year, expressing our support for different things we do at the Park District. I think there's ways, especially going into the input survey, we're going to be looking at our mission statement and stuff like that. I think it's a good opportunity to state these are our ideals and build up from there.
True.
I would absolutely.
As we work through the master plan and the surveys and stuff. Okay. Now, the next meeting of the next regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners will be February 24th at 6:30 here at the Fort Hale Activity Center. We do have executive session tonight.
Move to adjourn to executive session to discuss land acquisition per Section 2C5 of the Open Meetings Act.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Vice President Gibson,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ansier,
Yes.
Commissioner Janner,
Yes.
Commissioner McBroom,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruffing.
Yes.
President Todd.
Yes. Okay.